Rock Johnson decided to visit a local bike dealership, not to make any grand purchase, but simply to check out some new models for a personal project he had in mind. Dressed casually, with sunglasses perched on his face and a relaxed demeanor, he walked into the dealership unaware that the workers inside would soon be the ones caught off guard. As he browsed through the rows of bikes, the employees, busy with their daily tasks, couldn't help but make snide comments, assuming he was just another regular customer. One of them, an overly confident salesman, laughed with his colleague. "Look at this guy, thinking he's some big shot," he muttered under his breath, pointing at the Rock. "He probably can't even afford the basic models here." Another worker chimed in. "Probably just another celebrity trying to be one of us, just wanting attention. Wait till he sees the price tag." They all shared a knowing look, laughing at what they assumed was a harmless joke. Little did they know the man they were mocking was not just any celebrity, but the owner of the very dealership they worked at. As the workers continued their casual mockery, the Rock stood there, calm but quietly observing their behavior. He could hear every word, but instead of confronting them directly, he decided to let them have their fun. For now. His mind started to race, not in anger, but with a sense of quiet amusement. This moment, he realized, could turn into something much bigger than just a simple visit. He approached one of the bikes on display and began to inspect it, his hands lightly running over the frame. His stature, undeniable even in a casual outfit, immediately caught the attention of the manager, who had just entered from the back office. He looked at the large man standing by the bike, and for a split second, recognition flickered in his eyes. But the manager didn't say anything at first. He didn't want to interrupt. The salesman who had been mocking the Rock leaned in toward his colleague, saying, "I bet this guy doesn't even know how to ride one of these. He probably just wants a nice photo with a bike to post on social media." That's when the manager finally spoke up, his voice a bit more serious now. "You know, he's actually the owner of this dealership." The room fell silent. The laughter from the workers died immediately, their faces morphing from smugness to shock as they realized who they had been mocking. The Rock turned slowly toward them, his expression calm, but with a slight glint of amusement in his eyes. He didn't say anything at first. He simply smiled, allowing the weight of the moment to settle in. The workers stood frozen, their eyes wide, unable to process the situation. It was as if the ground beneath them had suddenly vanished, and they were left grasping for something solid. The realization hit them hard. This wasn't just some random customer they had been mocking, but the very person who held the keys to their livelihoods. The Rock didn't need to say anything further. His mere presence seemed to communicate more than words ever could. Still, the silence lingered in the air like a thick fog. The salesman who had mocked him earlier took a step back, his face flushing with embarrassment. The others awkwardly shifted their weight, unsure of how to break the tension. After what felt like an eternity, the Rock finally spoke, his voice steady but carrying a weight of unspoken wisdom. "I get it. You're all just doing your jobs, having a laugh. But here's the thing. When you work for someone, it's important to respect who they are, no matter what you think of them. You never know who you're talking to." The manager, still stunned, managed to stutter out, I'm sorry, sir. We didn't know." The Rock, sensing the genuine regret in the manager's voice, nodded slightly but didn't smile. "It's not just about knowing who I am, it's about respect. Every person deserves that, no matter where they come from or how they look. Everyone's got a story." It wasn't just the workers who were learning something in that moment. It was also the Rock, reflecting on how people often make assumptions based on appearances. In that instant, he decided to turn the situation into a lesson about humility, pride, and empathy. The workers, now visibly uncomfortable, began to apologize one by one, trying to salvage what remained of their dignity. But the Rock wasn't here to just reprimand them. He was here to teach them a lesson, one that would stay with them long after he left. Instead of storming out in anger or giving them a stern lecture, he took a seat at one of the showroom tables, his calm demeanor setting the tone for what was to come. "You know," he began, looking each one of them in the eye, "I didn't come here to make a scene, but I've been in your shoes before, underestimated, mocked, and dismissed. I've worked my way from the bottom up, just like everyone else. I know what it's like to not be taken seriously." The workers exchanged uncertain glances, still processing what was unfolding before them. The Rock paused for a moment, letting his words sink in. He continued, "This place, this business, it's about more than just bikes. It's about integrity, hard work, and respect. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy every bike in the showroom, not for the publicity, but for the people who truly deserve it, those who work hard and put in the effort. Maybe this will remind you all of something important. Respect isn't something you can buy, it's something you earn. The room fell silent again, but this time the silence wasn't uncomfortable. It was a moment of realization, a turning point. The workers, once laughing at the thought of a man they deemed unimportant, now found themselves facing someone who not only held power, but also had the humility to use it for good. As The Rock made his decision to purchase every bike in the showroom, the worker stood in awe, stunned by his generosity and the depth of his character. The salesmen who had once ridiculed him now found themselves humbled, reflecting on their actions and the powerful lesson that had unfolded before them. The Rock stood up from the table and walked toward the manager, his voice low but sincere. This isn't just about buying bikes. It's about showing what real leadership looks like. Sometimes it's not the flashy moments that define a person, but how they handle the quiet ones, like when no one's watching. The manager, now completely speechless, simply nodded, deeply moved by the unexpected turn of events. The employees, who had once seen their boss as just another wealthy celebrity, now saw him in a whole new light. They could feel the weight of what they had learned: respect, humility, and the power of second chances. As The Rock made his way to the door, he turned back and gave a final, impactful statement. It's not about what you have. It's about who you are. And that's what I want you all to remember. With that, he left the dealership, leaving behind more than just a trail of bikes. He left a profound lesson that no one in that room would ever forget.